Hey folks, welcome to the first review on the channel, and for this one it is going to be TT Combat's MDF World War Series terrain. Now, I bought this stuff myself, it's not sponsored in any way, this is just some terrain I wanted to buy and try because I liked the look of it, so I thought why not give you guys a review and my opinion on it once I've built a few sets of it to fill a table I'm building. So this stuff is pretty well made, it's a nice quality, seems very easy to put together as it is to put on paper. It comes very quickly. I ordered it straight from TT Combat themselves on their own website rather than a third party. It arrived within a week, and so far my impressions are pretty good. I have a few pros and cons that I'll get to later on in the video, but for now all goes well. This is one of the simpler kits I bought, and it comes together and builds up fairly nice. So, building the kits. Building the kits I found to be really easy. They are all laser cut on the sheets of MDF, so all you need to do is give them a little wiggle, wobble them back and forth a little, and then just pop them clean out. I find some of the smaller details and smaller areas can be a little fiddly to get out. You really need to be careful with those or you can damage them. And in other places, they're fine, they come away in your hand easily with very little effort and no damage whatsoever, which would be one of the drawbacks of the kit. They need some fine touches and finishing up once you burst them out of the framing. Some of the little connectors that are left on them need to either be taken off with a craft knife or sanded down a little with a little bit of sandpaper or some sort of emery board or nail file. I find they're quite useful for the small fiddly bits. And once you get that done, I would suggest dry fitting everything together, all the parts you need, and make sure you have the right stuff. And for that, I feel at this point I should add the note that all of the instructions for building of these kits is entirely online. You follow the link on the front cover picture to the website, you download the instructions that way, and then you build them up from there in that system. And I kind of like that actually, because I think the days of printed paper handouts with everything are numbered in our eco-friendly time, and I think that's quite a good thing. I think that's a good step forward. I am a fan of that. Once I started building them together after the dry fit. I just added PVA into all the joins and areas where I needed PVA to be. Stick it together. It held well. It held fast once the PVA set off and was dried. I've had no problems with any of the kits I've put together. They're all still in one piece now and look quite nice and finished. The next talking point, I suppose, we should really cover would be cost of these kits. I find they are relatively cost effective, depending on what you're looking for. Some of the smaller pieces, some of the smaller individual buildings can be as little as £4 or £5, and that's British pounds, that would be. And some of the full sets where you can buy multiple buildings and multiple different things, these full sets can be £75. Most of the medium-sized buildings are around £10, and I think that's very good. I think it works well. It's a very competitive price for what you get and for what they give you in the final finished product. I think they're very, very cost effective. If you are using them to fill a table or make a board or a particular build for a certain time period because of all the different ranges they have, I think it is a very good option to go for. And for the price, you can't really go wrong. Yes, I could replicate most of these buildings with different materials for a similar price of material cost, but if you were to put a time cost against you building these things with different materials in a different way, I do not think it would be quite as effective for everyday people, or even some more professional builders who do craft building for this hobby a lot. So, some pros and cons for these products. They are very quick to build. Some pros, they are quick to build. They go together very easily. They make big useful, playable buildings very, very quickly. I have built around 7 or 8 of these now, the kits I've bought of them, and I have built these 7 or 8 of them in the space of 3 or 4 hours. They all go together very quickly, very easily. They do build up very nicely. I would also say they can be very, very delicate sometimes. Some of the PVA is not great. They can be detailed, and they can also be very not detailed in times. They are very delicate. Some of the smaller parts, I would say, are delicate, and occasionally some of the laser cutting is not fantastic, but can be overcome very easily. So, some conclusions on the World War series of TD Combat stuff. They are great for the price. They fill a table well if you want to make a densely populated area with lots of buildings. I would choose this option. They are a good quality finish. They paint up well, they look nice on the table. Would I buy more in the future with my own money like I have now? Yes, I definitely would. For anything, I think they're perfect. I would say that some of them are maybe not perfect and ideal for all settings, but they work great in some of the ranges. As always, finally ending off with some glamour shots of them on a table of some of the pieces I've built and painted and had finished. So, I hope you've found this video helpful. Leave some chats in the comments and your opinions on TD Combat stuff you've used in the past. Thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to like the video, give it a like. If you want to subscribe, give me a subscribe. And I shall see you in the next one.